Kohala Yahweh Shem Yahushua Bahashim Kakodash, double honors to the apostles and all the bishops, the great millstone, even the elders that came before them that taught us this truth. Shalom, salutations to all the brothers. I'm pushing the word of truth and in sincerity, hopefully, like Tabernacle of David, the elder Yashawan, and today is the Shabbat. So, Salakia, Shabbat Shalom. I thought I saw something in a little video. So, come with me on this little journey, right? And let's search out here. How are the things, right, of Esau searched out? So follow me on this, right? Obadiah 1 and 6. How are the things of Esau searched out? How are his hidden things sought up? Go with me on this little journey. See if we can track this devil down, because he's got a way of doing things, right, that we're familiar with, and we have the cheat code. Let's get this real quick. 2 Cor 2. Always go there. You can always go here for reassurance. 2 Corinthians 2 and 11. Where's Satan? Lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. So let's start here. And this is the guy Chris Bledsoe was talking about, the angels and the Sphinx and the blue star Kachina. Okay, so whatever this is, Tales on the Go. This guy goes on to a show where the first thing that the interviewer or controller, if you will, what is the first thing he says? See this guy? Well, see the setting? See the camera angle? So this thing is set up, right? And what is the first thing that they say? The first thing they do is establish a lie. What lie is that? Okay, let's see.
You've spoken of an apocalypse or global upheaval.
Boom. So they just equated those two things. Does the word apocalypse mean global upheaval? Let's find out. You see how the devil sets it up? Here are the terms of this discussion. Apocalypse means global upheaval. Let's see what it means. Okay. Apocalypse. A-P-O. Apocal. L-Y. Apocalypse meaning. L-Y. What, P-S-E? Death. What does apocalypse mean? Destruction. Destruction, damage, catastrophic. Does it mean that? What does apocalyptic mean? Got to dig deeper. A lifting. Does it mean destruction? That's what they want you to believe. Okay. Complete destruction. No. First of all, it's described where? The book of Revelation. Could it mean anything close to revealing? It means in the event of immediate destruction, awesome catastrophic scale. No. The meaning of apocalypse is one of the Jewish and Christian writings. What does it mean? A prophetic religious text dealing with the revelation of the heavenly secrets. There we go. Revealing. Okay, not destruction. Destruction, that's the way of Esau. Okay, knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, that's the way of Jacob. Okay, a prophecy or revelation, especially regarding a final cataclysmic battle between good and evil. There we go. Final cataclysmic battle. Well, that's been going on. The war been going on, but yeah, end time battle between good and evil. Yeah, but Is it this bad thing? Prophecy of Revelation, that's what we're talking about, especially regarding, okay, what the end times mean. So maybe this great revelation is that what the prophets were saying was true. That's what's about to happen on Easter. What the prophets were saying was true. So here's what they're setting up. What are they setting up here? Well, the first thing they do is come out and define a lie. Listen.
You've spoken of an apocalypse or global upheaval.
Global upheaval? Yeah, that's coming. But apocalypse means what? The revealing, okay, of the plan, of why there's going to be a global. There's been a global upheaval. Okay, it's just coming to a head. Why? Because we're at the end. See, what are we revealing? We're revealing the truth. Here's the truth. Let's deal with the truth. 2nd Ezra 6 and 9. Let's go straight to it. Here's the thing. Let's start with the facts. Okay. 2nd Ezra 6 and 9. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that falleth. What world are we talking about? We're talking about an eon. Okay? Rulership is what we're talking about. Now, back to this. So, what are we revealing? We're revealing why these things are happening. What your time is up, basically. All right, so stop lying and defining what these things mean and what they don't. You're not the authority.
You've spoken of an apocalypse or global upheaval predicted by the entities, particularly after you had an Easter encounter in 2019.
Right.
What specific warnings or timelines have they shared? And before you answer this question, I just say to people out there, there's so much misreporting.
Yeah.
So you're about to say what you've been told. I've done something similar recently. I recently said that people have talked to me about 2027. And I noticed social media exploded with Coulthard says apocalypse, doomsday coming in 2027. Right. And it's so funny because all I'm doing as a journalist is reporting what people...
So he's a controller. This guy's being controlled. So was he visited? Maybe he was visited. But in between that time, what happened was the government swooped in and then did what they did to him. So now he's good enough. He's GG. He's good enough to go out and pass off some disinformation. And why do I say that? Because this guy breaks it down pretty damn good. Where is he at? Okay. This guy is breaking down Chris Bledsoe. Now, what he's going to say right here at 7, let me see. I know where 7 is. Let me see if I could get him breaking down Chris. Okay. So lock it.
So began reporting sightings of UFOs near his home in North Carolina. These initial encounters involved bright lights in the sky that were later followed by other phenomena like luminous orbs, physical effects, and episodes of missing time. Bledsoe's case drew attention from UFO researchers and eventually even individuals associated with the US military and intelligence community. And I think the reason for that is the genuine nature of the phenomena around Bledsoe and their persistence over time.
So what happened was he had some real encounters, right? And then after that, the government swooped in and did their thing on him. Either that or he was complete from the beginning, Betty and Barney Hill, which is complete government. All right, this is what we're dealing with here because he's talking about there's both. If you listen to this, I'm going to listen a little more, then I'm going to go to 7 and I'm going to show you exactly what's going on.
The character of his experiences changed significantly in 2012.
Now,
Bledsoe and his family...
See, when you speak of this change, what happened was he had some experiences that were probably genuine. And then he started talking about it and it started gaining, traction. So the government swoops in. And then they change it all up. And before you know it, you got a blonde haired, blue eyed woman, right, teaching you about the new age. And that's what we have here when you look at everything going on. And then what he's going to explain is when they did swoop in and they placed their agenda inside this guy, now we understand what's going on. And I'll be able to show you how and why that's going on.
Attention from UFO researchers and eventually even individuals associated with the US military and intelligence.
Let me back it up just a little so you can understand what's going on. So this Bledsoe guy
involved bright.
When I heard the elder from England do that piece, and it was a really good piece, but it was just there was just too much leaven, right, in what the guy was saying, and it was pointing new age and going away from Yahushua. And I'm like, well, that's part of this agenda. That's the devil's agenda, right? So I'm like, let me look a little closer. So I looked a little closer. I came across the actual interview, which starts over here with this guy, right? And then you can see the control from the start, right? When he defines what the terms mean and they don't mean that.
You've spoken of an apocalypse or global upheaval.
Okay, now, why don't you explain what the whole thing means as it pertains to what we're talking about? But you're not going to do that because you're controlling. So now listen again how this guy establishes that Bledsoe himself is just a lovable idiot. He probably saw something, he probably had an encounter, but we can see that it was intercepted. And then there was a planned plant put in his head that he's going to go out and push. So whatever's going to happen coming up on Easter, right? He's out there pushing it. Okay? He's pushing it. Now, listen to this.
It's in the sky that were later followed by other phenomena like luminous orbs, physical effects, and episodes of missing time. Bledsoe's case drew attention from UFO researchers and eventually...
I got to go back a little further because when you get into missing time and the things that he's talking about, that's classic Betty Barney Hill, which goes back to the 60s. They've been doing that. They're real good at it at this point. So you got to be able to ferret out what may have been a visitation, which we can clearly see in the scriptures, right? When they get into taking people away and stuff like that, the ones that have been taken away in the scriptures, they're not taken away and brought back. They're whisked up out of there. Ain't no, oh, and after we did this and we brought you back. No. Somebody might come, visitation, tell you what's going to happen so that you can go say that, right? But when you get into the realm of, well, and then we went for a ride and da-da-da-da, that has to be scrutinized in a different way. So anyway, let him set up what's going on. You'll see the different stages of where the government came in, put their mind control. And then, so where is this going? First of all, it's dealing with UFOs. So what could they be doing? What could they be planning for Easter? Okay.
Material. Now we're going to start off by talking about a man who is well known by now for his alleged abilities to summon UFOs at will and supposedly even heal people, Chris Bledsoe. In 2007, after a period of personal and financial crisis that included business failure, severe stress, and declining physical health, Bledsoe began reporting sightings of UFOs near his home in North Carolina. These initial encounters involved bright lights in the sky.
What is in North Carolina? Okay. Shit. Fort Bragg.
That were later followed by other phenomena like luminous orbs, physical effects, and episodes of missing time.
Physical effects. Episodes of missing time. Okay. Now, That could be angelic, yeah, but that reeks of Betty and Barney.
Case drew attention from UFO researchers and eventually even individuals associated with the US military and intelligence community. And I think the reason for that is the genuine nature of the phenomena around Bledsoe and their persistence over time. But the character of his experiences changed significantly in 2012. Bledsoe and his family received a lot of criticism from their Pentecostal Christian community for reporting these sightings. Some people even thought they could be demonic, and Bledsoe had come under an immense amount of strain. So finally, he decided that he wasn't going to talk about what was happening to him anymore. And it was at this time in 2012 that he first encountered the being he calls the Lady. Bledsoe's first meeting with this entity began with a vision of being charged by a massive bull.
Okay. And the massive bull goes into what? Right? Leo. Or Baal, if you will. Salahi, not Leo. But suddenly the white woman shows up. Right? Suddenly, they didn't talk about no beings until this, right? And here comes the devil with some blue beam.
Which knocked him off his feet. When he looked up, the lady was there. He describes her as having blonde hair, dazzling blue eyes, and she was wearing ancient priestesses' robes. She was only 4.5 or 5 feet tall, and she was bathed in bright light. She told him that he had to keep reporting his experiences for the sake of humanity, and that, quote, a new knowledge must arrive. Mankind must awaken to it. What?
There you go. Here's the plant. Here's the program right here at this point. Now listen.
Entity. Well, Bledsoe has been cautious about attaching bathed in bright light. She told him that he had to keep reporting his experiences for the sake of humanity, and that, quote, a new knowledge must arrive.
That's where the devil slipped in.
Mankind must awaken to it. Who was this entity? Well, Bledsoe has been cautious about attaching a definitive identity to her, but he suggested that she represents a timeless, divine, feminine entity that has appeared at different times in history to different peoples in different forms. These forms include the Gnostic figure of Sophia and the Christian Mary. It's also been suggested that this woman resembles certain Egyptian goddesses like Isis and the cow goddess Hathor. Think again of the bull that charged Bledsoe. But that first encounter with the lady was only the first of many. She came to him again at Easter in 2013, and this time she gave him the prophecy this episode opened with.
When the star of Regulus, she called it a red star. When you look at it, it looks blue, but she said when Regulus is red on the horizon, in front of the gaze of the Sphinx, before daylight. So in other words, when it's sitting right on top of the horizon, before the sun comes up, that moment would mark a change in humanity's knowledge.
In his book, UFO of God, Bledsoe says that he has...
In his book, UFO of God. What's going on? You got Caesar. You got an orb. You got this nigga doing this witchcraft. What do we see here? A woman? This is just reeking. Look at that. This is what we're doing, Chris? Okay, somebody got Chris doing this. Okay, so where are they pushing? Keep going.
Come to understand that this prophecy refers to Easter of 2026. But to be clear, the lady didn't tell him this. According to Bledsoe, people from NASA did.
Okay, now let's listen to that real close. And that's where the plant is. Where is this going? It's going to BLUEBEAM on Easter. Doesn't that make sense? This Easter. Listen.
Of 2026. But to be clear, the late...
I want you to hear all of that.
This knowledge.
In his book, UFO of God, Bledsoe says that he has come to understand that this prophecy refers to Easter of 2026. But to be clear, the lady didn't tell him this. According to Bledsoe, people from NASA did. And this is where things start to get confusing and to raise questions about whether Bledsoe's story could be being manipulated by people around him for unknown purposes. I took my $5,000.
Slovakia. Okay, so of course he's being manipulated. Let's see what they're going to say from here. Slovakia.
If you're enjoying this video so far, then please do give it a like and subscribe to the channel and activate notifications so that you don't miss future missives from me here at World Astrology Report. And if you want access to my whole back catalogue of exclusive content, including my monthly in-depth live streams, then sign up as a member of World Astrology Report on my website. There's quite a lot of skepticism out there about Chris Bledsoe. People have seen how close he is to actors in government and intelligence circles, and that's made him skeptical about his story. And I can understand that caution. I will say that I've watched several interviews with Chris, and I genuinely get the impression that he's an earnest man. I don't think he's making things up. I think he genuinely has had extraordinary experiences. With that,
I'm going to let this play right up to 7, and then I'm going to show you something very important.
Watch. There are some obvious problems with this prophecy. One of them being that Regulus is a blue star, not red. What's more, Chris says he's been told that this Sphinx Regulus alignment happens in 2026. And that's something that doesn't quite make sense to me. I just can't figure out where they're getting the year 2026 from in relation to this particular alignment.
I'm going to show you.
Hades' prophecy seems to be referring to the heliacal rise of Regulus, which happens when a star first becomes visible on the eastern horizon just before the sun rises. The ancient Egyptians timed their whole year based on the heliacal rising of different stars. But the heliacal rise of a fixed star happens just once per year. Regulus rises before dawn in the gaze of the Sphinx, which faces east, every single year, not just in 2026. So I don't understand why Bledsoe was told this would happen in 2026 in particular. What's more, he said that he was told this happens at Easter of 2026. But Regulus isn't visible at dawn at that time of year in Egypt. It's below the horizon.
See how close we are to 7? But Regulus isn't visible at it. Huh? What? What? He doesn't have the map like we do. I'm going to show you something. Listen close.
Why Bledsoe was told this would happen in 2026 in particular. What's more, he said that he was told this happens at Easter of 2026. But Regulus isn't visible at dawn at that time of year in Egypt. It's below the horizon. Regulus actually makes its first appearance before dawn in the gaze of the Sphinx in early September. So there are weird things about this that don't really make sense and make it tempting to dismiss the whole thing. I'm not quite willing to do that yet because there are some genuinely compelling astrological aspects to Bledsoe's story.
Now, so he said, what was that, 7? He said that it's not visible.
Bledsoe's story. And one of them has to do with the very same star of Regulus.
Bear with me.
Regulus actually makes its first appearance before dawn in the gaze of the Sphinx in early.
So, what are they missing?
Easter of 2026. But Regulus isn't visible at dawn at that time of year in Egypt.
In Egypt. What are they missing? 1 Corinthians 2 and 14, right? 1 Corinthians 2 and 14, I believe. Slovakia. But the natural man, what is this? King James. Slovakia. But the natural man, what? This is the natural man. Slovakia, where'd he go? That's the natural man. He don't understand what. But the natural man receiveth not the things of the Spirit of the Most High, for they are foolishness unto him. Neither can he know them because they are spiritually discerned. Okay? See that spirit is this spirit. Revelation 11, verse 8. This spirit right here. That spirit. Now let's read. Now they're connected. Revelation 11 and 8. And their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city, Babylon the great city, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt, where also our Lord was crucified. So what are we talking about? Spiritual Egypt, which is what? Babylon. So now what do? Okay, we're not in ancient Egypt. We're not in Cairo. We're not at that Sphinx. What Sphinx do we go to? In the spirit. Okay, so you go over here. Okay, so this is what I put earlier. I put, will the blue star Regulus have an interaction with the Sphinx in April 2026? What is this referring to? Yes, and it goes into this other thing, but let's see. This isn't what I was referring to. Oh, let me see. I said, will it be visible? Will have an interaction. Let's see, be visible. I asked it the question that he said. It won't be visible. Okay. See if I can get that.
Easter of 2026. But Regulus isn't visible at dawn at that time of year in Egypt. It's below.
In Egypt. Okay. Will Regulus be visible? Let me ask it that question first. Okay. Be visible. It should say no to this. Let's see what it says real quick. Regulus will be visible in the eastern sky around April. On EA. Let's see, on Easter. Let's see what that says. It says, yeah. And I don't know why it would say that. Leo. It says, while discussions are real, let me look at this real quick. So, Lockie, bear with me. Not necessarily rising in front, directly in front. Oh. You know what? It wasn't saying this earlier, right? Because I know that it knows. It says, while some predictions suggested specific dates like April 5th or March 20th for special alignment, the star is generally visible in the spring for the viewers at the Giza Plateau. Huh, it didn't say that earlier. Okay. But the point that I'm making is here in Babylon, there's a Sphinx in Nevada, and it will be visible. What this guy just says, I believe is true, because he did the work on it. I believe that AI is saying whatever needs to be said right now. If somebody touches on the truth, because what this is pointing to, right, is what? Why is the consciousness going to change like this guy's trying to say? What he's saying, oh, the consciousness is going to change on that day. That's what he winds up saying. Okay? And why would it? Why would the consciousness change? Because they pulled off that hoax. Okay? What better day, right? First of all, Easter is dealing with the Passover, which we celebrated last night, and so did the small hats. So that should tell you something. Now, what they want to do, and what this guy wants to do, this guy, where's his book? Oh, let's go back. This guy in this book, right, where'd it go? That. The book tells you what the agenda is. Look at the picture. If you're dealing with the truth, why you got Caesar in the mix? Why is Caesar even involved in this? This is weird. Come on, Caesar, where'd you go? Anyway, this is a perfect opportunity, right? For what? What they're saying, what this guy is saying here, he's saying definitively that something's going to happen on Easter. He wrote a book about it, and it's in the book. He said something's going to happen on Easter. Who gave him that information? A blonde-haired, blue-eyed spirit gave this nigga the information, right? That on this day, this is going to happen. You understand?
UFO of God. Bledsoe says that he has come to understand that this prophecy refers to Easter of 2026. But to be clear, the lady...
He said that in his book. He said that in his book that on Easter, which would be Sunday, you understand? That everything is going to shift when this happens. Said that this blue star Kachina, and I added that Kachina part, thing is going to happen, and the result of it, right, will happen on Easter. First of all, we know what Easter is. Ishtar, talking about that spirit, that white woman, right, the blue eyes, that he believes in, right?
Peace knowledge.
In his book, UFO of God, Bledsoe says that he has come to understand that this prophecy refers to Easter of 2026.
In his book, he said that. So the book has committed him to Sunday. Okay? What are they going to do on Sunday? They're going to blue beam. What are they going to blue beam? They're going to blue beam this.
Peace knowledge.
In his book,
look, they're showing you. There's the stars. And here he comes, Caesar. In one of these. In an orb. The whole sky's going to fill up with the orbs. And out pops Caesar. This is what they're doing on Easter. That has nothing to do with what we did last night. Understand they're launching this attack. Okay, so strong delusion that you would believe a lot. Does strong delusion go directly to Project Bluebeam? No. But could it? Yeah. Yep, you're going to believe that lie. First of all, let's talk about you, Jakes, right? That strong delusion there. Let's talk about the 2/3 for real. But, and everybody with the 2/3, that would be Esau, Eve. All right, so what's coming from space? What is this guy saying? All right, he's saying, well, I'm being visited by white angels. And here comes Caesar Borgia. This is what he's saying. On what day? Well, on Sunday. Here's what he's saying. Alien angel warning, right? This guy wrote a book saying Caesar Borgia will be here on Easter. So what does that mean? That means that they could come with that what do you call it? Project Bluebeam. Shit. Right? I shouldn't even type this in. Project Bluebeam. Images. The hell is Project Bluebeam at this point in this day and age? Project Bluebeam is a conspiracy theory alleging that NASA and the United Nations, under the direction of a New World Order, sounds about right at this point, plan to stage a fake alien invasion or synthetic second coming of what? Yahweh shot this, of that. Where'd you go, my nigga? That. Wait a minute. Project Bluebeam is what? It's a conspiracy theory, first of all, letting you know it's all true. Allegedly, that NASA and the United Nations, well, didn't NASA just go around and something's going on? Ah, why did they send that rocket out right now? Didn't they just do that? That might have to do with what? The fake alien invasion that's going to happen on Sunday. Does that have anything to do with where we're going to the moon? Well, we're going to go right around the moon and set up this big screen so that when Caesar, is that what they just did? Fake alien invasion or synthetic second coming using advanced holographic technology. The goal is to create global panic, to usher in totalitarian one world government and religion. Ooh, scathing. Did was Artemis moon mission a cover story for the blue beam projector holographic for the Easter invasion? Question mark. How about that? Oh, go get that Negro. No. It's not a cover story for Project Bluebeam. Artemis is a real public NASA program, nigga, designed to return humans to the moon. Really? Is that right? Well, why aren't they going? Are any Artemis has successfully launched 4 astronauts voyage around the moon. Huh? Why aren't they going to the moon? Why do you what is a Artemis moon mission is not a cover story, is a real designed to return humans to the moon. Really? Why don't they return right now? Why are they going around it? Guess what? Stupid. We understand how Esau's schemes are presented. Okay? Long-standing conspiracy theory regarding fake alien invasions. The recent is documented as a crude flyby. What? Huh? Why? Since you're there, since we're at the moon, what's the reason for not going? That doesn't make a damn bit of sense. But you know what does? That whatever reason they had to rush out there and act like they went to the moon, which they didn't, and then come back, right? This is probably right on point, right? Staging a fake alien invasion. That's what you people are up to. With even abducting that dude in the first place and implanting.
You know when you need to measure something.
His mind. That's what you did. This guy. Oh, Chris Bledsoe. Poor dude. You jacked him up. That's what you guys did. That's what you did to Betty and Barney.
This episode of the Y-Files is brought to you by Delete Me. Hey, sorry to interrupt, but 2 quick things. One, this is us revisiting.
Okay, this is stupid. This is, what's his name? Snagglefish? Hecklefish. We're not doing this. Anyway. This guy is saying that the orbs are coming. As he was told by a blonde-haired, blue-eyed, what? Demon. Had to be a demon dealing with him. Right? Trying to implant. Okay. What do the angels look like? The angel ain't going to come as no woman. Right? Letting you know that the Fatima, whatever, oh, it was a lady. And the Holocaust was real, right?
Were ours. I know they were.
So what he's talking about is, I know they were ours. What? That sounds like what? A fake alien invasion right there.
So, in New Jersey.
Right.
And he said, I don't believe the government when it says these are just confused, people are just confused. They saw aircraft. He said, I know what they were. They were anomalous.
They were anomalous. They were not. In fact, the drones were ours. I know they were. For one, a fan called me. He said, you won't ever believe what just happened. He had a video of this drone hovering over his house, right? It had the little appendages sticking out. It's blinking. The same ones you see stuff falling out of. He pulls a laser out and shines it on it. 30 minutes later, the FBI comes to his house and charges him. He's being charged with a federal charge right now for shining a light on a drone. He's like, you didn't say what it was. They said it's illegal to shine a light on any aircraft.
And yet, Federal Transportation Secretary General Glenn Van Herk, the former head of Northcom NORAD, the current serving general in charge of NORAD, everybody's basically saying they're still mystified by whatever these objects were.
There were orbs. And what happened? I told this in writing to Tim Taylor, NASA, and the whole group. And these when you see the missiles, the orbs are going to appear, and they're going to appear to the people. Well, what happened? Here they come. And then the government freaks out. Oh my God. They pulled the plug, de-escalated the fight. The orbs went away. The drones went away.
Suffering from debilitating Crohn.
Orbs went away. One went away. Where's that at? Where's that footage? Okay. Anyway, I'm gonna end it right here. Let's see what happens. Let's see. Let me get this. Strong D. I'll show you where this is talking about Jake. For this cause, who is them? Send them. Okay, so what is it? 2 and 11. 2 Thess 2 and 11. Who's them? And we beseech you, brethren. Okay. Let no man deceive you by any means. Right? For the mystery of iniquity, we done switched it to Esau. Right? And then shall that wicked, who's that, be revealed? That's Esau. Even him. Right? And with all deceivable. We're talking about Esau right now. Where are we going to 11? Them that perish because they receive not the love of the truth. Who's that? So let's read 10. 2 Thessalonians 2 and 10. And with all the deceivableness of unrighteousness in them that perish because they receive not the love of the truth. Who is the love of the truth for? Okay. It's for the Israelites, that they should believe a lie, that they all might be them who believeth not the truth. Who's that? But have pleasure in unrighteousness. That's the 2/3. Okay. Overall, but then everybody that follows after that, Eve, Esau, and you nations, but so you're all going to believe what? Power, with all power and lying wonders, what? That's BLUEBEAM. Even him who's coming is after the working of Satan, right? The deceiver. The adversary and the devil, the deceiver, with all power and signs and lying wonders. There's that technology, his little trickery and witchcraft and aircraft, mind control and Betty and Barney type of displacement and lost time and all of they've been doing that. Right? But what they're going to do, and with all powers and signs and lying wonders, Project BLUEBEAM, technology, holographic technology. Okay? Now, who's going to be fooled by it? Right? Now we get to 11. 2 Thessalonians 2 and 11. And for this cause, right, because you wicked as hell, the Most High shall send them strong delusion that they should believe a lie. All right? So, yeah. Although this is talking about Jay, does this have to do with BLUEBEAM? Absolutely. Okay.
Disease. You're saying it was cured after that night?
Yeah, it went away. I had it for almost 18 years, and I went back to my doctor. I even went to Chapel Hill. He sent me to Chapel Hill, North Carolina to find...
Chapel Hill sounds like 82nd Airborne. It sounds like Fort Bragg. Yeah?
out because I developed RA after
What's RA? Sorry.
rheumatoid arthritis. In 2009, I was diagnosed with that. Where Gary Nolan said, well, it was just a reprieve. In other words,
No, we got to take you to Cedar Sinai, motherfucking reprogram your ass. Is what we're doing. Anyway, we're not ignorant of Satan's devices. With that, we pray that the. So watch out for whatever Ishtar Sunday. They could and might try to pull an alien invasion. It's about that time. And he said in his book something was going to happen on that day. Let's see if they go with that card or not. Look at this. 9 months, 2 weeks. Right. 8 days. April is on us, so I guess we'll see. All right, with that, we pray that you elect right to fight.